Hi, welcome to the Runner's Haven. This is where I am just going to talk about my running experience and give insight and tips of things that I think have been helpful. And today I just want to talk a little bit about the transition between high school and collegiate running. And that is where I became incredibly overwhelmed and probably had some of the biggest crushing and crashes in um, my thoughts about running, and really had to dig deep and see what I needed to do to enjoy the sport again. So, in high school, I ran cross country for the first time as a senior, and I found that I loved it. In fact, I was like, "Yeah, this is what I want to do." So, I thought to myself, well, how do I go about running in college? I'd like to do that. So when I got accepted to the college that I was going to attend, I called the coach and I asked, I said, this is what I'm doing. I was running 25 miles a week, and my mile time was around a 5:45. So it wasn't in the round to really be able to compete, but that's where I wanted to head to. So that's what I wanted to work on. And the feedback I got, I was a little. It gave me a challenge. I was instructed that the runners in college were running 40 plus miles. So I thought that, well, that was my benchmark. So I need to get to that 40 miles. And that was a mistake. So high school and college can be very different and that transition can be really hard. And I would say take your time and adjust and go slow. Do not increase your mileage too fast. And yeah, I would, looking back, instead of just trying to increase the mileage, which was what I did, and I ended up running a lot of what you call junk miles. So just slow and just going to get the miles instead of putting the quality in. So I would look back and I would rather have a lot less mileage and more quality and just do some more cross training to build up that endurance rather than to just be pounding nonstop. So I ended up with some pretty significant overuse injury during the summer, and still went and walked on and started an attempt to enter into the collegiate level, which was quite different. So my first week, so I started in the summer and I just worked the whole summer, and the first week I ran 56 miles. So this was my training log, and training logs are helpful, but if you are trying to just make sure that you accomplish everything that you've got written down, sometimes it does not equate to what your body needs. And so if I was planning to do something, I did it. It didn't matter what my state was as far as my body, my recovery. And that is a huge mistake. You want to be able to listen to your body, take cues, and the times are going to tell you, how you're doing. If you're not able to hold a pace that would normally feel something achievable, and that starts to drop off, then there's probably something that you want to adjust. So I really hit the summer running as much mileage as I could. So the following week I was at 61 and a half. And then I was at 65 miles by my third week. So I am into summer like, yes, I am going to do this. And it didn't take long before I started to feel injury. So by the time I got to mid-July, my shins were hurting. So I was developing shin splints, and it was becoming chronic and overuse, and I didn't end up stopping. So I had shin splints, and then I had planned a trip. I worked all summer long to take a trip with my buddy to Spain, and I ended up noting that I had a lot of pain and frustration with the shin splints. And here I am in Spain, and my shin is wrapped. I did the best I could to take care of that overuse while I was there. Lo and behold, I did not know over in Europe that ice was not readily available or commonly used. Everything was bottled water. So I found myself at a lot of popsicle stands, and I used popsicles to put on my shins to ice them down. So I was dealing with shin splints. And then once the summer ended, I started August 17th running with the collegiate team. And it was brutal. It was incredible paces. I was just dragging butt, trying to keep up. And I love to run, and I just hung on as much as I could. At the time, we actually didn't have a coach, so we were kind of waiting on a new coach coming in. And the one thing that I did well was being consistent. So I laid down some consistent times, but they were not fast enough to compete. And I just was staying injured. And on top of that, somewhere in there, I was informed that it was best to be on a birth control to get your hormones and so that because of the stress and toll on your body, to keep your hormone balance. And looking back, so much I did not process, and it was hard to know what I was thinking or feeling. I just like to run, so I was just doing that, and I wasn't listening to cues in my body, and I would not go back and take birth control. It actually really mentally put me into a space that was not functional for me. So my response to hormone changes where it's not endogenous inside my body is just incredible emotional dysregulation, where I just cried and cried and cried, and had a hard time just being mentally in a place where I could even participate in the sport. And that is when I stepped away from it, and I continued to run. So I just ran for myself. I ran on my own. And eventually I really did need a break, and I'll get into some more of what happens when we train, I guess, without still listening to our body's cues, and what that can do to us in an inflammatory state and as well as a mental state. But I did step back and continue just to run for myself and explore what it meant to me, and I enjoyed it, and it really it helped me. But I did step away from the competition, and I missed the fast running, but I had burnt myself to the point where I was overtrained and fatigued that I did not even have another gear in me. So running yourself into the ground is not helpful. And if you're in the thought process where you're like, I just need to do more, or I'm just not up to par, then that can really be a hindrance to developing your skill set or your potential for being the runner that you're called to be and that you're meant to be. So looking back, I would not do any comparisons. I would just stick with what can I do to learn how to improve where I am, and not try to get somewhere else too fast, too soon. And also, I would seek help as a female athlete of how to adjust to and how to manage your hormones endogenously. So really getting a good nutritional balance and paying attention to your cues with your hormones, getting the rest that you need. I would love instruction in that, or just that feedback. And so over the years, I've just learned and paid attention a lot to how to keep my hormones balanced and to work with them. And I do best if I can have that feel of what's happening with my hormones, so that I don't override them. And the body's pretty amazing, and having that mentorship can be huge to helping you be aware of what's going on with yourself. But I had a lot of insecurities and lack of knowledge, and just didn't really know where I was going, but just kept one foot in front of the other over the years. And this just taught me a lesson in listening to my body. And I've even had some more hurdles to jump through, and I still do. But I will say, when you do stop and you listen and you make friends with your pain, make friends with what's going on, instead of fighting it, then you can make progress that you probably never would have imagined. And I love one of the quotes that's in this log is that Pain is a friend to be heeded, not a foe to be fought or ignored. It is a friendly warning that something is wrong. If you give pain attention, you can stop the damage. So pay attention to the pain. One of the things I learned is recovery is the magic. It is in the recovery, and the rest is where you make the progress. If you're enjoying what you're doing and you're putting the work in, it's really finding out how to keep you in a great mental place and getting the recovery that you need and enjoy life along the way. So it's not an end point, it's just finding where you enjoy your journey. And so I didn't end up running for this particular college, but I did later on return to the collegiate scene at a Division II school and enjoyed it very much, and still had many hurdles to go, but I just wanted to share that journey of transitioning from high school to college, because it can be very intimidating, overwhelming, but can be done and done well. Don't hesitate to ask for help and guidance. And if you have any questions or comments or concerns that you want me to address or to tell, that I will be happy to share my experience, because anything I can do to help you enjoy your running or your transition and your desire to continue on at another level, I am happy to be here for you, and I am cheering you on in your running journey. Collegiate running can be so much fun, and going from high school to college, it can be a difficult process. So I wish you well. I wish you all the blessings with your endeavors, and I will see you in another video.